Hey, I'm Chris. I live in Las Vegas and I love guitars. And today I've got my Korg RK100 and I am staring in front of the Volcas. Now, I fell in love with guitars years ago, and before I thought I just needed a synthesizer and a guitar, and if you've had gear for a long time, you start to accumulate a whole bunch of different stuff. Now, this guy happens to be a MIDI controller. It has no sounds of its own. So what do? Do you hook it up to a synthesizer, or you buy little sound modules? And that's how I discovered the Korg Volcas. So, the Korg Volcas came out in 2013. They're these little sound boxes that are honestly, people argue that they may be toys or that they're not serious synthesizers, but honestly, they're pretty darned awesome. And I'm going to show you why I love them. So, let's scope them together. So, what we have in front of me is basically my two favorite Korg Volcas. So, this is the Korg Volca keys. This is the Korg Volca bass. We need the Korg Volca mix to mix everything. And this guy is one of the originals as well. This is the Korg Volca beats. Now, I believe all three of these came out the same year. This came out next, and I believe, if my internet research is true, the Korg Volca sample came out and then the Korg FM. So lately, I've been playing all of these guys together in a mix, and I wanted to show you what I really love about them and what makes me care about these guys. So, by the way, I'm not even going to try to explain the monstrosity of how I'm powering all of these together. The Korg Volca mix is supposed to power like 3 different Volcas, but I'm using a Korg patch in order to power like all of these Volcas all together. So, basically, all the audios of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Volcas are going into the Korg Volca mix, and I'm mixing them all like a soundboard. But at the same time, I'm going to go through them each and every one of these one at a time to let you know how much I love them and why I love them. So, first we're going to start off with the Volca keys. The Volca keys is an analog synthesizer, or it's a little sound box that's an analog synthesizer. And let's see, I like to detune it. Let's see. By the way, I'm playing everything off of this guy. Okay. Okay, back to the Korg Volca mix. Okay, so this is an analog synthesizer. This is an analog synthesizer. I believe that the Korg Volcas are a great introduction into getting into learning how to mix sound and learning how to make your own patches. And honestly, they're inexpensive synthesizers. You can find them on eBay. I'm kind of addicted to eBay. You can find them on eBay for around $150, brand new, maybe $75, less than $75. Like if you're buying a used one, they stick together. They're pretty good. I've had these for like almost half a decade. Okay, so I've got a triangle wave here. I am. This is for this. This is a sequencer. All of these have some beautiful a beautiful kind of keyboardy thing. Let's see. You could use all of your little knobs to mix the sound that you want to mix. This is how you make a sequence. I believe the Korg Volcas can hold up to 10 different sequences at the same time, depending on which Volca it is. But I want to just dip into the sound of this guy and why I like it so much. So that's my portamento. This is my detune. I'm turning them both down. It's a nice little simple, like, triangle wave. But I like using this guy to make a lead sound. So I'm gonna detune it. I'm gonna add a little portamento. And then I'm gonna detune it just a little bit so it's a little fuzzy. Do you hear it? Let's detune it just a smidge more. Ooh. All right, so moving on. This is the Korg Volca bass. It's got 3 oscillators on it, as you can see, VCO 1, 2, and 3. I like to combine them all together. You could either make them all separate with this little button there. You could either make 2 and 1 with that little button right there. Or you could add them all together, combine them in unison with that 3rd button there. Now, I like all these. I like to... In order to mess with the sound, I like to have everything hitting all at the same time just to make it punchier and make it thicker sounding. This is what it sounds like on its own. By the way, again, I'm playing all of this on this guitar. So the cool thing about the Volca bass is you can make a sequence on this guy, and you can make the sequences all on a different sequencer. So let me see if I can do that. Let's see. No, we want that. There we go. Okay, and we're gonna make a sequence. And we're gonna start off with VCO 1. It's the low bass one. Hear that? All right. Now we're going to go to VCO 2. We're going to add a little bit more on the sequence. It's usually like a good octave up. Can you hear them both? And now, if you wanted to, you could play a lead on the 3rd oscillator. Or you could program another sequence. So, this is a 3 oscillator synthesizer. You can have all the oscillators going on at the same time, playing different stuff if you want to. You can actually program some really complicated stuff off of this guy. So, but what I love about it is I love to combine all the oscillators together. So it makes a unified sound. So this is what it sounds like, all 3 of the oscillators playing at the same time. And what I do with these 2 is I patch them together on the same MIDI split, and I play them simultaneously to give me like a nice, thick, like well-rounded sound. I want to pretend that I'm always playing like a Moog Liberation when I play these both together. Again, those 2 playing off of this guy. That is my dream. I love that sound. So right up here, again, this is a little mixing, this is the Volca mix. It's like a mixing box for all your Volcas. You can hook up to 4 on these little outlets right there, but I'm using a split on number 3, on channel 3, right there. See this little split wire? For those guys, because I'm playing both of those simultaneously, I want them to go through the same channel. So the Volca Beats is pretty awesome because you could play drums on it. The 80s was all about drum machines. And what I like about it is, again, you can program whatever drum beat you want in it and it will play it. Let's see, it's got 10 little channels on it. It's got a kick, it's got a snare, it's got, what is that? It's got toms, it's got a hi-hat. Let's see what it sounds like. Now, it's not my favorite drum machine, but it does reflect a lot of analog drum machines that came out in the 1980s. So I kind of dig it because it's a reflection of the 80s. And if honestly, if I had a time machine and I brought these all back in time, people back then would fall in love with these. Like a good synthwave band would fall in love with this gear. So I'm gonna play a quick beat on it and program a sequence that see what it can do. I have to poke my hand through all these wires. It's all right. I want to put a clap on this. Clap. And of course, you could change the tempo. And you could change all the part levels. You can manipulate the PCM speed. All of these little knobs make all of the Volcas completely controllable and editable. Again, this is why I love these guys. Some would say they're toys. Maybe they are toys, but they're pretty groovy, nifty toys. So this is an awesome sampler. This is the Volca sample. It's more than just a drum machine. I use it as a drum machine, but you could load samples on it, and there's even an app on an Android and on an iPhone. So you can record whatever samples you want on your phone, and it will play it back to you. I've done that a couple of times, and a couple of times I've wiped everything in this guy, and I'd have to go back into the original and put all of the sounds back into it. That's a pain in the butt. But I'm gonna show you how this one sounds. So again, I use it mainly as a drum machine. And then, of course, these two are samples. But again, if you've got the ambition, you could put whatever sounds you want onto this guy. But mainly I use it as a drum machine. And finally, this is the Korg Volca FM. Basically, it's a DX7 in a teeny tiny little box. I've got a hankering to get the Volca FM too. But at the same time, I'm trying to be less of a gearhead and not buy gear that I don't need so much. But basically, it will play FM sounds. You could edit them all in all these little knobs. You could change the algorithms in all the little knobs. You could change the velocity. You could change basically what octave everything is playing on. So lately, I've been playing all of these guys, and I've been playing these two off of the guitar. I'm gonna put it all together, and let's see what it sounds like. Oh, by the way, here's a cool bass. Let's see, let's find, ooh, I love this. So usually how I do this is I will make a drum beat in this guy. Come on, get up. Don't give up on me. It's all right. So I will make a drum beat on this guy, and then I will usually add a clap or a snare on this guy. I will make a bass line on this guy, and then I will play a lead off of these two. So let's see what happens. Let's put it all together. let's see what we can do. And yes, I'm in my pajamas. Yes, I'm playing music in my pajamas. All right. Let's retry this. Yeah, a little better. Okay. A whole band! A whole band, man. Now, the magic of these guys is you can honestly play an entire song, an entire band all together. But my biggest inspiration with these guys is I will randomly play a jam. I will randomly play a whole bunch of weird notes in different keys. And then sometimes something will come out of that. And I'll be like, wow, dude, that sounds pretty awesome. And then it will later turn into a song. So the biggest thing that I could recommend with the Volca keys is that honestly, they're so versatile. They're so inexpensive. And they're creative little boxes that will help you like edit a sound and make a rhythm and put something together that you maybe wouldn't have put together on your own. I'm Chris. I live in Las Vegas, and gear and guitar is everything.